Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching. Today I'm going to teach you a little bit that I'm learning with Davinci Resolve. Maybe like the rest of you, I've been an Adobe user for a while, and I'm kind of making the switch to Resolve because frankly I'm just kind of tired of all the Adobe pricing. So I'm moving over to the Affinity Designer, Affinity Photo, and Resolve is my video platform. This is my first project in Resolve, and I'm actually going to start with Fusion. I'm going to make a little animation that I can put at the end of my YouTube videos for the end slides. And then later on I'm going to be building out the intro and that sort of thing. But for today, I'm going to start with the end template, and then I'm going to move into editing this. I won't show you the edit, but I am going to show you the animation piece. So let's get to it. First thing you're going to want to do is go into Fusion, this little icon down here in the bottom. Then the next thing you're going to want to do is go over here into Media Pool. Go over to your Edit tab down here at the bottom. On your toolbox in the effects, you're going to have a Fusion composition. Take that, drag it into your timeline, and then extend it out for the duration, however long you want it to go. For me, I'm going to choose close to 1 minute. Just stop right around there. Okay. Next, you're going to want to go into Fusion. This is the media out. Whatever you feed into this is going to be generated on your timeline automatically when you go back to it. Find the image you want on your background, drag and drop it into your media pool so you have it accessible in Resolve. For me, I've been doing a little bit of branding stuff I'm playing around with, so I'm going to pull in this little image here. There we go. PNG with a transparent background. Mine has a little bit of a drop shadow, and I'll get into that later. Once that's done, you can also drag and drop it and put it down here and create a node for it. And this will be your media in. To get a view of it, just grab the little end node here and connect it onto your media out, and ta-da, there you go. But we're not done yet. Next thing we'll do is we'll look in our effects library, and under tools, we'll find on our transform, we'll pick a transform, we'll drag it into here, and then we'll reduce the size to something a little bit more reasonable because we want to create a pattern with it. Next thing you want to do is down here on the edges, you want to do a wrap, and there you are. You create your matrix automatically. And then from here you can again adjust the size if you want, decrease it a little bit, increase it, or you can rotate it if you want. I kind of like that view, so I'll do that. Okay, so I'll spread these nodes out a little bit. So I got my media in, I got my transform, I got my media out. The other thing I want to do too is I want to get rid of that transparent background, and yeah, it'll show up as black in my timeline, but really I want to have some flexibility. Maybe I don't want it pure black, maybe I want it gray, dark gray, maybe even white. So I'm going to grab the little background icon here, slap it on that line, and it's going to automatically create a merge for me. Now what you can see here is it's done the whole thing as black. Right? If I go to my background, I've got a black color selected, and obviously it put that merge on top. So by right clicking on the merge, I can just do a swap inputs, and there we go, now it's on the back side. Change the color, simply click on it, and then select your new color. Let's go up here maybe and say, look, purple. Or red. Or in my case, maybe a dark gray. Great. Now what I'm going to do here for my transform is I'm going to increase the size of it just so you can see some of that detail of the drop shadow. And one of the other things I'm going to do is, even though I like the red for the branding perspective, I'm really not keen on the red for a background. It makes a little bit too much of a statement. So I'm going to go back up here on my tools and color, and I'm going to throw in a color corrector before I hit the merge. Okay, so media in, color corrector, then merge. Once I get to my color correction, I'm going to just desaturate that a little bit to get me a nice lighter gray. And then I can just modify the contrast a little bit more on the background if I wanted to get it just a little bit darker. Go back to the transform, and again, just increase the size a little bit so I can see a little bit more detail on that. And there you have it, right? A basic slide that I can now animate. But first, I want to do one more thing. And again, I'm going to use a background. I'm going to slide this down here towards the media outside. And again, put the black on the top, which is fine this time. And I'll tell you why. We're going to go into the background. Instead of a solid color, we're going to use a gradient. Now I'm going to modify the gradient a little bit. In that, I want the dark color on this side and the lighter color over here. But what I'm also going to do is going to change the angle. So you can just click that and drag that up that way just to change the angle of the gradient. And that one I'll put down here. I'm also going to make this gradient a little bit more uniform. So yes, I've selected it all black. It looks like it's one black slide, but that's not the way it's going to be. I'm not quite done yet. Over here on the opacity, I'm going to start lifting that up. All right, now you can see the underlying pattern emerge. I'm going to select the other node on this side and do it similarly, but to a lesser degree. There we go. And let's just pull this one in a little bit more so it gives us more of a little bit of lens effect. And instead of a linear, let's go radial. Maybe lift that a little bit more. There we go. I like that. You know, you can see the drop shadow effect on there. It really looks like it's an active lighting. And let's go ahead now and animate this. So I'm going to take my little slider here just by clicking on the time, slide it all the way over to this side. And then I'm going to go to my transform. And I'm going to set that as my in and my out. So what I'll do is I'll select, there's my keyframe. And then I'm going to drag this and come over here and select another keyframe, but I'm going to change this now. We're at 0.5, let's make it 5. Let's go -1. Okay. Now let's just test that out. We'll go back on our timeline and let's hit play. That's not bad, it's chugging along a little bit here. But it's also going more left to right. I want more up and down. So let's stop that. Back to my keyframe. And on this side here, let's go down to, say, -10, 3. Okay, let's go back, try that again. And this you can just play with the settings until you get something that you prefer. I think that's pretty good. Now the only thing I want to do is my background. This side is a little bit too light. So I just want to bring that down a little bit more. There we go, get that a little bit more subtle. There, I'm liking that. So now what we can do is we can also add a little bit of a dynamic lighting effect. We'll take our timeline, we'll run it all the way back to the beginning. On our background now, that's our lighting overlay is effectively what it is. It's our gradient overlay. We'll do a start point and an end point for the gradient. And then we'll move it around a little bit. Let's go in about here. And let's have the light point move over. And the shade come over this way. So transition. Let's go a little bit further in here. And maybe have it sweep back up. This one here sweep around. Go in here again. Have it further arc more towards the corner. This one way down at the, actually let's bring that up closer. There you go. And maybe for the last one, then we'll just stretch this out over here. And then bring that back to center. Let's see how it looks. So it is a little bit difficult to see this because of the long duration of the clip, but it looks pretty nice. Looks like you have some dynamic lighting with some shadows. Let's go back into our edit. All of this is now in our timeline, and it'll get rendered on the fly. And there you can see the center of our radial gradient, kind of scroll across, and it'll work its way back. Now because I want to use this as the end slide on my YouTube videos, I'm going to render this out so I can just top and tail it however long I want for all my credits, and it just comes in as one video file. To do that, I'll just do a file, export. So for me, I'm using 1080p, 24 frames a second. I'll just leave that as a 264. Let me export. And I'm going to select the location. down here to my D drive, my videos, throw it down here in YouTube, and I'll turn this end slide. Now that we're done, close that out, and let's see what we've got. Double click on that, and there we go. So if you think the speed is too fast, you don't like the dynamic lighting effects, you want to slow it all down, you want to change the scale, it's all within your control. Let's say you're not a big fan of this by the time you get it this far. How do you go ahead and change it? All you have to do is go back into Fusion, pull up your media pool again, if you don't want to use that graphic, pull in another one, your media in that you're using, delete that, drag your new file in, connect it back up, and there you have it. Ready to roll with all the same parameters you've already applied. So that's it. It's pretty straightforward. If you wanted to try adding other effects, you can just go back in the effects library, look for other effects you might want to do on your background, pull them in here as a node and connect them up in series, and experiment to your heart's content. The one thing I wanted to do that I haven't been able to figure out though is this planar transform. I wanted to try to get it some perspective to try to make it look like it's kind of trailing off down here, right? So this is closer and it's a little bit farther away. And I haven't been able to figure that out. So if anybody knows how to use the planar transform, let me know. Put it down in the comments below. Be greatly appreciated. For now, I'm just going to delete that and leave it as is. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Appreciate you guys spending your time here. If you did enjoy this video, please like and subscribe down below. This is my first attempt at trying to do anything in Resolve. Now I'm going to go through and edit this video and post it on YouTube. Next one I'm probably going to be working on maybe the intro template, or maybe I can work on that planar transform. If you guys have some comments on how to get that working, that'd be great. But thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. I gotta like lots of ums and ahs, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Oh, it's recording. Awesome. Okay, now one more thing. Now, how do I render this? It's not what I wanted. Where the hell did I put it?